we are one of the very few initiatives that has an immediate impact on sustainability. And I think you know what we are talking about. Many sustainability initiatives will have impact in the long term, but our lightweight seat generates CO2 saving right away, right now, today, not tomorrow.
Welcome to Sustainability in the Air, the world's first podcast dedicated to sustainable aviation. I'm your host, Shashank Nigam, the CEO of Simplifying. Every Thursday, I have important conversations with top aviation executives, technology entrepreneurs, and policymakers helping aviation take climate action. Conversations that help separate the signal from the noise. Whether you are a frequent flyer or an airline executive, if you care about sustainability or simply love traveling, welcome aboard. My guest today is Amaury Barberot, the CEO of Expliseat. Expliseat is known for their ultra-lightweight seats that combine carbon fiber and titanium, achieving 30% weight reduction in seats compared to conventional models. This results in significant fuel savings and emission reductions as well. With clients like Air France, Cebu Pacific, Jazeera, and even Porto Airlines in Canada, Expliseat shows that small changes in cabin design can have outsized benefits for sustainability. What's particularly impressive is that Expliseat's technology is backed by over 100 patents, which underpin their disruptive approach. Today, we explore how Amaury and his team are helping the aviation industry tackle its environmental challenges without compromising on passenger comfort or economics. Amaury, it is a pleasure speaking. For listeners who may not be very familiar with Expliseat, can you please tell us about the company and the journey that you've been on?
Sure. So, hello, Shashank. Expliseat is the designer and manufacturer of the world's lightest aircraft seat. Our seat is 30% lighter than a similar product. It's in average 1,200 kilo saved when an Airbus A320 or a Boeing 737 is actually retrofitted with our seats. And that weight converts into 6% CO2 emission reduction per passenger. That is a massive saving. Our product, the Thai seat, is a new generation of seat, and it was specifically designed to address the ongoing challenges of the aviation towards a more sustainability approach. This is also the lightest seat, because today it is the sole certified on-flying aircraft where the seat frame is not made of aluminium. Our seat frame is made of carbon fiber and titanium, and that's where the weight saving comes from. So today we have 20 airlines flying with our seats all over the world. Air France, Air Canada are some of our latest customers. This year we will triple our turnover versus last year, so we can say the technology is now adopted by the market. I'm happy also to say that we are quite proud as a company that we are one of the very few initiatives that has an immediate impact on sustainability. And I think you know what we are talking about. Many sustainability initiatives will have impact in the long term, but our lightweight seat generates CO2 saving right away, right now, today, not tomorrow. That's why, of course, CSO likes us. But also we have the chance to evolve in an industry where weight has also a dollar value. And so by being the lightest, our seats are most of the time very much appreciated by CFO because we generate a massive dollar saving or massive extra profit for the airline. I don't know if you know any other solution where a CSO and CFO do not fight. They can agree on a solution.
Yes, because most chief sustainability officers of airlines I know are usually asking for more money for SAF or more money for a new kind of plane. So this is definitely good. And there's an important thing you just mentioned, which is there are very few things airlines can do today that will make flying more sustainable, lightening the load. I mean, many of them take away everything from paper cups of plastic cups to olives, I've heard, in certain airlines. So having a seat that is lighter, 30%, is a big deal because every takeoff, every landing, it adds up very quickly, right? Um,
No, so that's exactly what we try to promote, is that the seat is no more a commodity, but an asset, actually. An asset for sustainability, and also an asset as a financial asset, because sustainability does not come with a cost. With our seat, it comes with a profit, actually. So
right,
pretty nice.
right. So that's very interesting. So you have lower costs because of lower fuel burn and also lower carbon emissions. But I won't name the airlines, but I've been on certain full service legacy carriers with the thinnest seats in the world. And I can tell you, for after in the first hour, they are not very comfortable. How do you bring comfort into the seat that is so light and make sure that the passenger is happy as well?
As I mentioned, Air France is one of our customer, and as you can imagine, for them, passenger experience is really, really key. That's what they offer to the market. And so it's hard for them to meet ambitious sustainability objective where we tell them lighter the seat, remove a headrest, remove natural leather, whatever, remove something so that we can meet the sustainability objective. The beauty of our seat is that we remove the weight on the invisible part. So the part that actually no one cares except in terms of crash, for sure. And our seat passed the exact same crash test as any other seat. But the weight saving comes from the frame, not from the cushion, not from the armrest, not from the tray table, not from what is important for the customer during his journey. I think Air France as a legacy love that because passenger experience is not limited for once. We offer them the weight saving. So, for example, on a retrofit of Embraer, we gave them 600 kilo, and they dispatch it between part of the weight, they move it to passenger experience, and part of the weight, they keep it for their sustainability effort. And actually, it applies to any kind of airline. So basically, the 1,200 kilo we are giving to an operator of an Airbus, if it's a low cost, maybe they will say, I use all that weight saving for fuel efficiency, CO2 reduction, and everything. Maybe a legacy will distribute it different way. So they will say 600 kilo for comfort and 600 kilo for fuel and weight saving. And I think that's clearly they decide, and we match their needs here.
I'm glad to hear what goes behind the scenes. Now, one of the things, if we just drill down a little, a large majority, I believe over 90% of the carbon footprint of a seat happens during the use phase. How do you balance the product development phase and sustainability in that aspect, carbon fiber, for example, to end of life recycling versus the use phase? What is the thinking around that?
So it is true that we performed a life cycle assessment with independent entities, and they came up with the conclusion where the carbon footprint of an aviation seat comes from 97% the use phase, 1% is manufacturing, 1% is supporting the seat during the lifetime, and 1% is end of life. So if you want to focus on the big numbers, there is only one thing to do: make the seat lighter. Doesn't mean we should not address the rest to make it better, but just in terms of numbers of rationals, it's lighter, lighter, lighter. And so during the product development, that's where we put all our efforts. All our effort is every gram must be justified, either for safety or for passenger experience, but every gram counts. Doesn't mean we do not do anything for the rest. So if I should give some initiative, for example, regarding manufacturing, as you may know, when you manufacture a part in composite, the drawback is that you generate many waste. It's inherent to composite manufacturing. And so we developed our own circular economy where we recycle our industrial waste to make new parts. And for me, it was very important that those parts are not downgraded, meaning it serves in other industry and not aviation. So we worked pretty hard to make it happen, and now we are able to make our own seat tray table out of the industrial waste of the seat frame. And so it's clearly it's super high tech technology, and it has a lot of benefit because the tray table in carbon fiber, it's probably the cheapest on the market because we don't pay for the virgin material, but it's also the most robust and the lightest. So that's kind of initiative we are making for the manufacturing. For the in-service, I would say we had one strong policy. We want to remove plastics from our seats. As you may know, traditional seats today are made with kind of 20% of the seat weight is plastic. And plastic, even if it is made out of recycled plastic, it's not super clean material and it's not super durable. So as a company, we decided to remove plastics. So typically, armrest is not made of plastic, it's made of aluminum. Treatable latch is not made of plastic, it's made of aluminum. We can do so because we save so much weight on the seat frame that we have many more weight option to do this kind of modification.
That's very, very interesting. Well, one of the interesting things you mentioned is the variety of customers. You mentioned Air Canada. You've got Jazeera, which is a ultra low cost airline in Kuwait. You've got Air Tahiti. How do you balance the regional differences and how both sustainability priorities versus economic priorities are balanced for airlines as different as Jazeera to Air Canada and Air France?
Maybe before sharing some differences, I'd like to insist on commonalities. Because,
sure, go ahead.
Most of individuals, organizations now care about it. And I can tell you, we started the company back in 2011. At that time, we were pitching our company, our seat, by saying it's the lightest that would generate savings in dollar and CO2 savings. I'm not lying. Few people ask us what is CO2 back in 2011. So now, for sure, it doesn't happen again. And even it goes one step further, is that for many of the airlines we are talking to, they put a value on CO2, either a dollar value or a care value, but at least they put a value on the CO2 we are saving. And I think we see that today all around the world. One example, Jazeera Airline, as you mentioned, they are based in Kuwait. So we could think that they would not be the first to care about fuel saving, CO2 saving. I can testify it is the airline that has the most fuel efficiency, the most robust fuel efficiency approach. One example is that they decided to increase the frequency of repainting the aircraft, because they demonstrated that by repainting, they were reducing the drag, and that led to fuel saving that paid for the new paintings. And so this is the kind of initiatives they are getting. And it's with no surprise that they selected our seat to retrofit their Airbus fleet, because they are so much into that fuel efficiency data, CO2 saving. So today I see this as a general trend. For sure, the idea of sustainability as an investment instead of sustainability as a cost is still a change of mind that is ongoing, I would say. And we are here to demonstrate that it is possible to meet some sustainable objectives without any cost impact.
Thank you for sharing, because once again, I'm going back to the alignment we started with, the CFO, the chief sustainability officer, and it seems the passenger and the CEOs as well. Everyone seems to be aligned. And that's so important. Now, one of the interesting things is that Expliseat has expanded beyond aviation into rail. I think the rail industry's considerations around weight especially might be very different. So what prompted this diversification, and what similarities or differences are you finding between aviation and rail?
For sure, all mobilities cares about sustainability, but right now they are at different level. For sure, a train right now, traveling by train is more sustainable than traveling by aircraft. Let's put aside the infrastructure part of it. So the importance of weight, typically if I take the life cycle assessment, the 97% we were referring to for aviation does not apply for railway. It's totally different. So we are not in that market to help those mobilities to become more sustainable. We are there to help them become more profitable. Because it's a sustainable mobility, if we want more people to use it, it must be competitive, and that's what we are helping them to do so. If I give one example, for sure, I'm French, so I will use the French railway company, SNCF. They are facing currently some issues with the maximum axle weight. So the axle has maximum weight that they can carry, and right now they reach the limit. So if they want to increase the passenger experience by adding Wi-Fi, USB, they cannot because of the weight limit. If they want to densify, they cannot because of the axle weight limit. So we are giving them that weight so that they can do either better passenger experience and justify the price of their ticket, or densify, and in that case maybe more move to a more low-cost approach with higher densification. So I would say in that market we are not going there to help them to become more sustainable. They are already, but help them be more competitive so that they can have a wider audience. I do so also because by working for that market, actually we are improving our own aviation seats. Railway has different constraints. For example, because there is no steward in the train, there is a lot about vandalism because no one controls what's going on. So we are learning a lot of things here so that our seat can be more robust. Also, they do not retrofit as often as an aircraft. And so we must have seats that have better longevity so that it can last 15 years without any retrofit. So to be honest, it's a win-win. We are going there, bringing our technology, and it helps them. And we are receiving also some good info and some good product improvement to improve our own core market aviation seats.
Very interesting. I didn't realize that there was this Excel requirement or limit in rails. Of course, I'm not a train spotter. I'm a plane spotter, as you probably can tell. But it's very interesting to know. The other aspect I wanted to touch upon was line fit capabilities. I know you're a newer entrant than some of the other manufacturers, so you were always a retrofit option. But I believe now you have introduced line fit capabilities with Airbus. It's a big deal, isn't it?
For sure. So we entered Airbus BFE catalog, meaning any new airline buying a new Airbus can select Expliseat, only on A320 family for sure. It's very important to Expliseat, and I will detail why. I think it's also very important to Airbus and to the operators for sure. Airbus awarded us with the Innovation Award 3 years ago among all Airbus suppliers. So showing that, testifying the innovation is a true advantage for their customers, the airlines. Airbus is very much into innovation because they know that innovation brings new innovation. They are also, as you know, very much into more sustainability. So this year at AX Aircraft Interior Expo, they released the Eco Efficiency Index for all the seats in their catalog. And Expliseat gets a 30% better score than the average of the Airbus portfolio. So it's a pretty good result. I would say that for Expliseat, for sure, it's important just because now that light seat exists, I cannot accept anymore that an aircraft will take off from Toulouse or Hamburg with seats that are heavy, and it will fly like this for the next 10 years, while a lighter seat could save 300 tons of CO2. So I cannot accept that. So we had to go into that market. Also just because it's a new technology that we are bringing to the market, and for sure, getting higher volume will lead to decrease the marginal cost of the technology. And so it will make it affordable for many more customers. So that's why also we are entering that line fit Airbus market.
Very, very interesting. I'm curious, Amaury, here. What is your moat? Can a competitor just come and make carbon fiber seats like you and get a 35% decrease in weight? Or is there something that Expliseat has patented or doing uniquely that makes it very hard to duplicate?
Expliseat has patented the technology. We have today more than 100 patents protecting the technology. We know that many of our competitors tried already to do a composite seat, and all of them stopped for different reasons. For sure, more people will try. one day someone will succeed, but I think we will have 10 years of advance. And second, I'm happy that we opened the path to more suppliers into that market, because it would prove that we made the good choice. And at the opposite, I mean, first, let's have as many light seats as possible in the market. So there is room for more than one supplier. But for sure, we'll continue our own path of innovation, because we think we did not reach the limit of weight saving leveraging our technology. And also over the last years, we developed a wider product portfolio to address more markets. So from turboprop, crossover, A320, Boeing 737. And I think, as we mentioned, sustainability now is a core topic. That's the defining story of our generation, even, I would say. So I imagine more and more people will somehow follow us.
Very, very interesting. Glad to hear, what you've got going here. Just digging a little bit again into sustainability, according to your data, a weight saving of 1.2 metric tons per aircraft can reduce emissions by about 350 tons annually. How do you help airlines quantify these environmental benefits? And do you have tools that have been developed to track this impact?
First, there is a lot of data available linking weight saving to fuel saving, and fuel saving, of course, to CO2 saving. So I would say getting a 90% estimate is fairly simple, and no one challenged this kind of calculation. However, when we started the company, what we did is that for the first 3 customers, we actually did a fuel data survey the next 2 years after the seat installation, to make sure that what we promised to the customer was actually delivered and the estimates were good. I can testify that today, out of the 20 and plus customers we have, no one said what you promised to us in terms of economics, in terms of fuel saving, in terms of CO2 saving is not there. So it's now 10 years of experience. We actually developed our own CO2 saving calculator that is based on actual traffic, an actual flight database. So at the end of the year, we know that every one of our customers saved that much of CO2. So it's not only predictive, it's also at the end of the year, we can do the math and get the number of tons actually saved. And it's quite massive.
You've been at the company for a long time, Amaury, and I don't think you've always been the CEO. You've grown into this role. You've seen the Expliseat of the old and the new Expliseat, which you are unveiling at the Aircraft Interiors Expo in Hamburg this year. What has changed, and what's different about this new Expliseat than when you first started?
I think the mission does not change or has not changed. I think from the very beginning, we wanted to challenge conventions. We were about why aircraft seat must be so heavy. Just to give an idea, cabin interiors, it's 5 to 10% of the aircraft weight. So it's very big in terms of, and it's only 1% of the cost. So there is room for innovation, meaning even if you come with a little bit premium, if you can save massive weight because you relate to 5-10% of the aircraft, it's massive. And so the mission of leveraging that paradigm of 1% of the cost but 5-10% of the weight is what motivated Expliseat. So the mission has not changed. I think what has changed is that prior to COVID, we were really focused on the lightest seat possible. And our very first seat that we delivered and actually flew is still flying. It was a 4.5 kilo per pax. So it's was really crazy. I would say nowadays, I was not saying that at that time, the comfort and the style at that point of time was quite minimalist. We acknowledge that not so many airlines could jeopardize comfort and style for the weight and the sustainability reason. So over the last years, we really upgraded our product, use a portion of the weight saving to make it nice. And recently we won an RFP and the customer said you were the most elegant seat. And I think that's pretty new for the company. And it also opens a wider range of potential customers because as you were saying now in an sitting decision committee, we have the chance where the CFO will be happy because of the way, the CSO will be happy because of the sustainability, but also the passenger experience will be happy because it is elegant, and the maintenance will be happy because the seats being made of titanium and carbon fiber instead of plastics and aluminium, it makes a big difference. So that was one of the big evolution of Expliseat, and it's just the first step.
Wow, I'm really excited about the unveil and being part of the celebrations personally in Hamburg and seeing how this goes. Final question, considering aviation's net zero goal, how do you envision cabin interior innovations from Expliseat and beyond contributing to achieving these targets?
I think there are different ways. There is a short-term contribution, which is being one of the very few immediate solution. And I think that's really massive. As you know, there is 35,000 aircraft flying, all OEM combined that deliver 2,000 aircraft. So just to change the full fleet, it will take 30, 40 years. So we think that immediate solution is critical. Second, in the midterm, I see lightweight interior as a way to cancel SAF premium. We know SAF is probably the midterm solution to have more sustainable aviation, but it's expensive. And we feel that our lightness, we could cancel that premium so that it's easier for airline to use more SAF. In the long term, I really hope that all the new generation aircraft, the new generation engine, the electric aviation, the hybrid aviation will really make it. And I think that all of them will need lightweight, because we talk here about a battery, we talk about putting a lot of energy and densified energy, but they will need lightweight. So we will be an enabler of those new technologies. Yeah, and maybe an additional idea, but is more a naive idea, I would say, is maybe create what we could call a light class in the aircraft, meaning you have first class, you have business class, you have eco class. Why not have a light class where every decision will be made driven by sustainability? For sure, you can understand that a luggage of 23 kilo is probably 1/3 of your weight, so it contributes to a higher carbon footprint. So why not just delete luggage somehow? I think that green class, where we would think everything in the scope of sustainability, is maybe one naive idea about what also we could bring to the market.
Wow, I love it. Let's make this green class or lighter class a reality. I love the vision. And congratulations on all the work you have done at Expliseat, and I can't wait to see the new brand bringing new excitement into the industry. Amaury, there's an additional round in this interview, which is called the rapid fire round, in which we get to know you a bit personally. Okay, in which you can reply to me in one word or a short sentence, less than 7 words. And I'll start with something very simple. What's your favorite city?
I would say Hong Kong. It's the first time I lived abroad in Hong Kong for a year now, 15 years ago, and the city was so puzzling. It was like at that time the perfect hub to go all over Asia. So multicultural, a little bit of taste of British, a little bit of taste of China, a little bit of taste of worldwide. So I would say Hong Kong.
This is very interesting because you're the first French person who's appeared on a podcast who lives in Paris who does not say Paris is my favorite city.
If I had to name a French city, I would probably select a small fisherman village in the Western Brittany of it. So no, for sure, come to Paris, travel with France.
Okay, fine. We digressed. So favorite city is Hong Kong. What about your favorite airport?
Favorite airport is one operated by one of our very first customer. It's Air Tahiti. So it's in Tahiti. As you can imagine,
yes.
we approach landing, like the view is really, really beautiful. I would say second one, I used to work for the French Navy. and there was an helicopter on my frigate, and I would say that landing from the helicopter onto the into the ship in the middle of the sea is a quite nice airport.
Ooh, wow, that's one of the most unique answers I've got on this podcast. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have a favorite airline?
Tricky question. Should I?
All right, fine. I will not put you in this.
Let's keep that one.
We'll skip the favorite airline one. What do you do in your free time?
Free time, I have 3 kids. 1, 3, 6. So
Oh boy,
quite busy, right? And then I ran a lot. I was running 50K last week just to get trained for Hamburg coming in.
Oh, okay. I wonder if you're running away from your kids or running towards your kids and catching them. That's how you do your 50K.
Good one.
What is it something that you'd like to learn?
I started to study geopolitics 15 years ago. I had to stop actually to focus on Expliseat, so I would love to start again. More business related, I would say I would love to learn more about comfort.
Okay.
As you may know, comfort is so subjective, which as an engineer, it's difficult for me to accept. So if I could find a proper teacher on comfort, that would be very much convenient.
Very, very interesting. I'm curious, what is the best advice you've received?
It's quite an entrepreneur advice is don't take no for an answer. Maybe to tell a story, when we started pitching the company in 2014, we visited several aircraft OEM. And one representative of them, when we were presenting our first composite seat, said, "We tried, we failed, then it's impossible. So no."
Yep.
And we didn't take that no as an answer, and we just continued our path and make it reality. So I think with that no being taken as an answer, there would be no Expliseat today.
Fantastic. I love it. I completely relate to that spirit, having launched multiple products in the last 18 years within aviation. I've so often heard, yeah, we've tried this, it didn't work. Why are you wasting your time? And then here we were building something great again. Finally, if we are speaking 1 year from today and we are popping champagne, what are we celebrating?
If within the next 12 months, I don't see anyone talking to me about sustainability as a cost, but all of them talking to me about sustainability as an investment, because there are solutions where investing on sustainability ends up with profit, then we open champagne and I'll pay it for you, Shashank.
Fantastic. Well, Amaury, on that note, I wish you all the best. Thank you for sharing the Expliseat journey. I love that you are sitting in an Expliseat product while we are recording this interview, and I cannot wait to see what you've got up your sleeves in Hamburg this year. Congratulations on all the progress. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainability in the Air. Aviation is one of the hardest to decarbonize industries, yet there are multiple paths to get to net zero. Awareness is key to a green future. So please give us your support to help our sustainable aviation insights reach a wider audience. You can do this by sharing this episode on your network, on LinkedIn, Twitter, or even WhatsApp. Or perhaps you might consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to this episode. You can start a conversation with us by writing to us at podcast@simpliflying, that's simply with an i.com. And for more content on sustainable aviation, please visit our website green.simplifying.com and join the movement. Sustainability in the Air is an original podcast by Simplifying. The show is produced by Juraj Toth in Slovakia. Dirk Singer is our Director of Sustainability, who leads research for each interviewee out of Greenwich, UK. Shubhadeep Pal is our Supervising Editor based out of Mumbai and Singapore. The articles are written by Ayushi Badola in Dehradun in India, and Mira Hull in Montreal, Quebec. Creative design is led by Ligia Esteve in Montreal. Baiba Drimain is the project director for the show based out of Valencia, Spain. Special thanks to Wendy Sim in Singapore. And I'm Shashank Nigam, the CEO of Simplifying and your host. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.